All right, Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah tribes, Yasharala, giving the chorus all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, by Shema Mashah, Kwambalak Yahabashah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahabashah, this is Brother Yasharala.
Brother,
Khan, coming back, y'all, yet another video through the Spirit of Power, Yahweh, by Shema Mashah, Kwambalak Yahabashah. All right, Lord willing, all Israel is having a mighty Shabbat through the Spirit of Power, Yahweh, by Shema Yahabashah. And of course, the brother to the right of me, his beloved brother AHBAYAH, W5 Atlanta, who's been laboring with me, 2 years now. All praises to the Most High. So you can, of course, you can subscribe to his channel entitled AHBAYAH. Also check him out on Instagram if you want to, entitled AHBAYAH as well. All right, so all praises to the Most High. So, we're going to get straight into this. Probably not going to be too long of a video, probably about an hour or so. But basically, just going into that's in the Bible. Like, a lot of stuff that people don't study the scriptures, they don't know and understand that a lot of things is actually mentioned in the Bible that are mentioned in this world. Right now, a prime example, we're going to be going into the spaceships. Yes, is actually mentioned in the Bible, man. But I'm gonna get a precept about how we have to search the scriptures in order to find these things out. Right, there's no way you will know that spaceships are mentioned in the Bible if you weren't searching the scriptures out. Right, so let's go to the book of John, chapter 5, and verse number 39. Right, it says, search the scriptures, for in them ye think ye have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. So these scriptures, the Lord told us to search these scriptures, right? To look it up, to proceed, to actually understand it and search it. Be in it, man. Right? Live in these scriptures. All right, that's what the Lord commanded us to do. Read precept upon precept, keep reading it through the lines, search up the geography, search up the names. Don't just read it like a Christian. The Lord said, search the scriptures, right? And through searching the scriptures, you can actually understand that spaceships are mentioned in the Bible, man. You got a precept up?
This is right, chapter 39 and verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of ancient and be occupied in prophecy. So when you give your mind to the law, you're seeking out the prophecy, secrets of the Most High, knowing that there's spaceships in the Bible, knowing that there's certain things in the Bible that you didn't know because you're reading. It reads verse 2. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where acceptable parables are, he will be there also, but disappoint. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. And that's the secret. Not a lot of people know that there's spaceships. That's the whole secret. A lot of people would think the Lord's coming back on an actual horse, might have a lasso coming back in the sky. That's not in the Bible. That's not biblical, man. Secrets, the Lord speaks in similitudes. I'm gonna get one more precept. He speaks in similitudes, allegories, parables, and things of that nature. You have to have that eyesight upon your eyes, anointed, to be able to see these things. If your spiritual eyes not open, guess what? You won't be able to see these things. You won't be playing upon tables. But this is the book of Hosea, chapter 12, in verse 10. There, man. And it reads, Hosea 12 and verse 10, and it reads, I have also spoken by the prophets. I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So you may read something, you may think it's talking about this, but it's really that. Sometimes you may read it, it's plain upon tables. That's where your discernment comes in. The more you scriptures, the more spiritual discernment you will have to understand what's going on.
That's right. That's right, man. And like how the brothers bring it up, you have to basically understand the similitudes that the Lord used in His Bible, right? Because the Lord used a lot of similitudes, right? Metaphors, symbology. Like the Lord, He used all these things, right? Because He didn't want everybody to understand this Bible. The Lord said, for seeing, they should not perceive, right? Let me get this precept real quick, and then we can kind of get into it. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, and verse number 20. It says, seeing many things, but thou observest not. Opening the ears, but he heareth not. You see that? So you see many things. You see the spaceships. Everybody knows about UFOs, man. But nobody knows that it's actually mentioned in the Bible. right? You'd be like, UFOs in the Bible. Bible's not real. Nah, it is, man. We're about to go through the precepts and show you, plain upon tables, that these things that are so-called spaceships and UFOs are actually mentioned and seen in the scriptures, right? But you see many things, you don't see these things in here, right? Because for one, you're not searching the scriptures out, and for two, the Lord may not have you to actually understand it and perceive it. But God, yeah, we can get into it. Right now. Let's go to the book of Second Ezra, chapter 13. Now, where do we see this in the Bible? I want to pull this first account. Let's go to Second Ezra, chapter 13, verse number 1. All right. Trying to read that Bible, Kasha?
In verse 1, and it reads, "And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him."
So this man that waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, who is this talking about? Just like how it says in Isaiah, you had to have precept upon precept. If you didn't have the precepts that Isaiah had, or it's like the precepts of Revelation, or the precepts of Isaiah, or the precepts of Jeremiah, when you're reading this, then you wouldn't understand. What's that man that waxed, boldly with the thousands of heaven? I don't know. Who is that? Who is that? Right? Who could that be talking about? Is that Esau? It's not Esau, right? It's Yahushua. But how would you know it's Yahushua? In this whole chapter, right? There's no mention of that word Yahushua, of that name Yahushua, right? In this whole chapter. So how could you know it's talking about Yahushua? You have to go to different books to actually break it down, right? But it says, "And lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven," right? So I'm gonna get this precept real quick. All right. I'm gonna get this precept. The brothers had the precept too, you can look it up. But I'm gonna get this precept real quick. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 68, and verse number right. I'm gonna get this. Yeah, verse 17. "The chariots of God are 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai in the holy place." The Lord said, the Lord said that the chariots of the Most High are 20,000, even thousands of angels, and the Lord is among them. So that's what we're reading right here, right? The man waxing strong with the thousands of heaven. And when you go into that footnote for in the 16:11 for second Ezra chapter 13 verse 3, when it says with the thousands of heaven, that thousands actually goes into the clouds. So with the clouds of heaven, who's coming with the thousands of clouds of heaven, right? That's talking about Yahusha. But we can only see that through the precepts. These clouds, remember, I know brothers probably had precepts as well, but Psalm chapter 104 verse 3, right? The Lord said, He maketh the clouds His chariot. So those clouds are actually talking about chariots. And we see that the Lord Yahushua is coming with thousands of chariots, right? So, that's plain. But yeah, you got the king.
And when the Lord comes back, He's not just coming back by Himself. He coming back with many, many angels, man. Right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 5 and verse 11. "And I heard the voice of many angels round the throne, and the beast and the elders, and the number of them was 10,000 times 10,000, and that's a lot. You can't number that, man. That's John just saying thousands of. You think John was actually counting as 900, 901, 9,900? He wasn't doing that, man. He's just saying that because there's a lot of angels that you can't even number. Like the brother says, an innumerable amount of angels. And when these angels come back with the Lord, they're coming back in so-called spaceships. Now, you may read chariots, you may read clouds, but that's all help talk. There's certain, it's like Paid in Full. The man said, "Man, this is my spaceship." That's what Jake be saying. Yeah, this is my whip. This is my spaceship, man. This is my ride, right? My ride, man. Now it's called a car though. It's called a car, but Jay not going by that, man. They calling it a spaceship. What you riding, right? Same thing with the Lord. He has hip talk. We get that from the Lord. You got chariots. You got clouds. You got whirlwind. These are different hip talk terminology for the chariots, the so-called spaceships. I got another precept and touch on what the brother was saying. It's in Matthew chapter 24 and verse 30, and it reads, "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven." The same thing you're reading in 2nd Esdras 13 about that man is the same man right here, the Son of Man, Yahushua, right? And it reads, "And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory."
Lord.
Now, clouds again are not actual rain clouds. You see rain clouds. Oh, those clouds are called chariots, also called whirlwinds. Those are so-called UFOs. Now, those UFOs again, it's not green men in those UFOs, but it's angels, man. That look just like you and I, so-called black men, coming back with the Lord to do vengeance and to deliver His elect. Because
That's right. See that the brothers bring that pain so like you're playing with playing upon precepts to the spirit, man. Right. I'm gonna go to the book of right. Yeah, Well, yeah, I kind of had two precepts, but I'm gonna go with Revelation 19 and verse number 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. So this is John kind of seeing the similar vision of Yahweh's second coming. Remember, a lot of the prophets saw Yahweh's second coming because that's the great and terrible day of the Lord. You know, so like Zephaniah saw it. You know, Habakkuk saw it, Habakkuk 3, he prophesied it by the day of the Lord. A John saw it, right? All these mighty men saw the second coming of the Lord. Isaiah, right? Even Moses, man. Moses was declared the end of times. What do you have at the end of times? Yahweh, right? So, even Moses saw it, man, right? So, let's go to the let's keep reading this, right? Revelation 19 and verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. You see that? The armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. Remember, these are not actual horses, man, right? Because if we read in one place that the Lord's coming with clouds, and then we read in another place that he's coming with horses, which one is it, right? Last time I checked, a horse is different than a cloud, right? So it's all like how the brother said, it's hip talk, man. It's hip talk, it's slang. All right, yes, you have slang in the Bible. Because guess what? Jake, he comes up with slang, all right, the most. Esau slang, we're not dealing with that. Hey, Esau, he'll call you a prick, you know? What the hell is that, man? What the hell is a prick, you know? Or he'll call you some damn weird ass name, you know what I'm saying? But Jake, he comes out with that slang that everybody uses. The Moabites, the Ishmaelites, the Edomites, every nation uses Jake's slang. Like, what's up? Jake came up with that, man. Got Elamites come over here talking about what's up. We're we're in Jordans, you know. So that's everybody uses Jake's slang because Jake is the salt of the earth, and we know that Jake is made in the image of the Most High. So how much more the Most High? He got it from the Lord, man. That slang. So how much more? Yeah. So how much more the Lord, right? The Lord is using slang, right? These horses really going into the chariots, man. These angels are on chariots. Because remember, you go into the precepts for the horses. The Lord said in the book of Job, right, that the horse. Yeah, I just gotta get right. Let's go to the book of Job. All right, that's where you got to go precept upon precept, right? Job chapter 39 verse 19. Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou clothed his neck with thunder? Right? And so the Lord, he gave the horse strength, and he clothed his neck with thunder. You see that? And that's also similar to it in itself, because that's not literal. It just means that the horse is mighty, fast, strong, right? Canst thou make him afraid as a grasshopper? The glory of his nostrils is terrible. See that? He paused in the valley and rejoiceth in his strength. He goeth on to meet the armed men. See that? So these chariots are basically the vehicles of the angels. And these vehicles, just like how you have vehicles on the physical level to go to war, you have the jeeps, you have the tanks, you have jets, et cetera, et cetera. Just like how you have vehicles for men to go to war, you have vehicles for the angels to go to war, right? And they're going to war via these chariots. See that? It says he mocketh that fear and is not affrighted. Now that turneth he back from the sword. So they're going to go straight to war on these nations, right? But Khan, yeah, your brother got it, right? But yeah, there's armies in heaven that's going to follow Yahweh in the second coming. But Khan, you got it.
I also want to get this account with Isaiah, because like the brother said, these prophets, yeah, the brother get that probably. I don't know. But
You said what?
I thought you was about to get that, but it's
Oh
straight
no,
up.
you got it. You got it.
What's it called? Yeah, like the brother said, these prophets, they seen the same vision but different perspectives. You think, the versions, one version was the Lord coming back to walk the earth. The other, he coming back out. I don't know, man. No, they saw the same thing, but different perspectives, man. All right, let me get this real quick. This is Isaiah, Isaiah chapter 66. I'm going to get verse 15. And it reads, For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with chariots, a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Now, right here, called chariots. But the brother read in John 19, I believe, it called horses. Then you have a cloud, you have mountain, you have roll. Again, what the brother was saying, these are all different slang talk and terminologies to call these spaceships chariots and stuff like that. I'm going to read it again, Isaiah 66 and verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Esau, they got cars, they got automobiles, they got jets, they got airplanes, they got helicopters. You think the Most High God, it just don't have anything? You think his angels just fly around, they flapping all the way in the third heavens all over the place, man? No, they have vehicles. The same way how Esau have his technology, which is bad. The Most High got his own technology, man, in the third heavens. Not made of metals. It's not made of steel. It's not made of carbon or I don't know, rocks, metals, and stuff like that. These are solely operated by the spirit. Only spiritual things. That's only spiritual things, right? So that's how the chariots. That's what the chariots are. So-called spaceships. A lot of people have encounters with it. They might see it, then it disappears. They may see it transform or duplicate and things of that nature. They might start saying it's an alien. It's an alien invasion. The whole time you just saw the angel Lord. Huh?
Right. Yeah, Khan, that's right. And like how the brothers bring it out, good points, man. The Lord is not a damn, remember the Lord, he comes with salt in everything that he does, man. Right? And you read Isaiah, you understand that the Lord, he can speak very poetically. Now will I rise, now will I roar. Hey, that's how the Lord speaks. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Lord speaks. And I always just want to get this account real quick. Because people, it will be foolish to think that all these books, right? English literature, I don't care what language, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have famous books within it, right? Famous literature, right? Within it. Within English, you have Shakespeare, right? Who might have been a Jake, who might have been Jake, but that's a different topic. But you have literally Shakespeare. He's praised for his works, right? You have other authors, right, within the literature of English that they're praised for their works as well. And there's a lot of metaphors. There's a lot of similitudes. There's a lot of literary devices that's used in these books. So they are praised for that. How much more the most famous book in the whole world, and the most relevant book in the whole world, and the most beautifulest book in the whole world, and the most valid book in the world, man. How much more of this? How much more of the Most High's words? Right. So these men, these carnal men, are getting praised for that. Then how much more the Bible, man? Right? People sleep like how they say in the world. You sleeping on the Bible, man. For real. You for real sleeping on the Bible. You don't you reading Shakespeare. Oh, that's deep. That's deep. When he says the sea, he really means this, that, and the third. And when he says the mouth of the dragon, he really mean, I mean, that's whatever, man. What about the scriptures? And then as soon as you read the Bible, everything's all literal, right? Everything's all literal. You'll be a fool to think that, right? I just want to get this precept real quick. Judges chapter 3, right? And verse, right? Right? You see that? All right, let's go to Judges chapter 3 and verse number 23. It says, Then Ehud went forth through the porch and shut the doors of the parlor upon him and locked them. Right? Now, this is after Ehud, who was an Israelite, who was left-handed, right? He had slain the king of Moab, right? I believe this was the king, right? Yeah, Khan. King Eglon, the king of Moab, right? He had slain him, right? When he was alone in the in a room, right? Now then he shut the doors, right? And then he left. Verse 24. When he was gone out, his servants came, and when they saw that, behold, the doors of the parlor were locked, they said, Surely he covereth his feet in his summer chamber. What does that mean, man? Covereth his feet. What does that mean? You know, it's not literal covering his feet. Covering his feet is basically like a well, not a metaphor, but it's like a saying, right? It's a saying. You see that? Just like how the Lord uses the hip talk and slang, it's a saying. You even have sayings of the Moabites in the Bible, man. Covered his feet indicates what? Oh, okay, he's using the bathroom. That's what that means. Because when you use the bathroom, go sit down on the toilet, you take, you pull down your pants. You see that? So surely he covered his feet. You see that? But if you didn't search the scriptures and look that out, then you'll be like, what the hell does that even mean? You know what I'm saying? So the Bible even has sayings of certain nations in the Bible, man. Right? So how much more the Lord's words? Right? But Khan, you got it, King.
To link up with that too. This first chapter 24 and verse 3. I was talking to read the 3 chosen men out of all Israel and went to seek David and his men upon the rocks of the wild goats. And he came to the sheepcotes by the way, where was a cave, and Saul went in to cover his feet, and men remained in the sides of the cave. You see that? So we have different proverbs and different sayings back then. Certain proverbs is not literal, man. Like I was just reading Proverbs today. I was reading Proverbs today, and it says something about if you don't have an ox, if you don't have a ox, the house will be clean, but strength comes by the ox. You might be like, what's that talking about? So you're on a spiritual level, what's really going into, like if you don't have a job, guess what? You'll be relaxed, but you get money by having a job. That's basically what it's saying. Things in that nature, breaking it down. So it's not literal what he's saying. Same thing with this, in the chariots or different things in the Bible. Some things are not literal. Some things are spiritual. Some things are plain upon tables. That's where this. I'm gonna read it again though. 1 Samuel 24 and verse 3. And he coached by the way, where was a cave. Saul went to cover his feet, and David and his men remained in the sides of the cave. And this where it separates the men of the Lord from the boys, man. Who will actually go into it and see what that means? I remember when I read that. I'm like, what does that mean? Like he covers his feet. I looked it up. It means he was taking a crap. He was using the bathroom, huh? Right? So sometimes you have to seek out knowledge. That's what you have to do.
Sure.
Carry it in the Bible or whirlwind. Are you asking questions? What does this mean? Or are you right over it like it's nothing? Like it's just not like a plain textbook you read in literature class. Right when you come in, you have a warm up on a board. You have a warm up you have to do and answer questions. No, man, everything matters. Everything in the Bible matters, man. This is the words of the Lord, right? I'm gonna get one more precept with that too. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 8 and verse 9, and it reads, "They are plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge." So things are plain to him that understandeth. It'd be plain upon tables, but the understanding that Yasharala has, when he reads certain things, he's gonna be like, okay, that's not literal. That's talking about spiritual, because that wouldn't link up with this. That wouldn't link up with that. That's not literal, man. Let the Lord be contradicting himself.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritual has to have a different meaning to what it's really saying. Fool, he'll just read it. He'll think it's literal. That's why you have the so-called white man thinking It's going to be a literal beast coming out the ocean, because he read Revelation 17, coming out the ocean in the last days. And he's going to be like Donkey Kong, knocking down the buildings, all hell breaking. It's an actual beast. They don't know what, because certain things are not literal.
Yeah, Khan. That's right. That's right, man. Like other brothers beautifully going into, man. Not everything is literal. So when we're about to read this in Second Ezra chapter 13, all right, don't be bugging yourself out, you know. So Khan, yeah, Khan, we can go back to that in Second Ezra 13. Start at verse 3 again. Babusha.
This is what Second Ezra chapter 13 and verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him.
Yeah, Khan. So that's how you know it's talking about Yahweh, because everybody, when the Lord comes back, like how the brother brought out in Revelation 1 and 7, every eye's going to see him and everybody's going to tremble, you know. So Khan. But Khan, yeah, let's keep going.
Verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire.
You see that? It says, whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth filleth when it filleth with fire. There's plenty of precepts about how the Lord is coming back with fire. You know, brought it out Isaiah 66, good precept. You know, you can even go to Luke chapter 12 and verse 49 on down. The Lord said, I'm come to send fire on the earth. And what will I if it already be kindled? You know, so that's what he's come to do, send fire upon the earth. The Lord said that the fire shall be off sent out again. You know, I'm gonna get that precept real quick. It's the book of Second Ezra chapter 5 verse 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places. So in the day of the Lord's wrath, the Lord said it's going to be confusion also in many places. I mean, when all hell is breaking loose, there's no water, there's no damn food, everybody's raiding the stores, the power went out. There's going to be confusion in many places. And even before Jacob's trouble, there's confusion in many places. You got damn drag queens visiting children's schools. That's confusion, man. Right? You have books literally talking about it's madness. You got books talking about maybe you feel like a boy, maybe you feel like a girl, maybe you feel like none of those things today. Well, whatever you feel like, this and the third, that's confusion too. So it's twofold, right? It's twofold. But it says there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be off sent out again. And the fire is going to come from Yahweh Shah, you know. Who's going to burn his adversaries, like the Lord said, right? Hey, I got a precept real quick on that. It's the book of Isaiah. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter. Right. Kind of right here. Isaiah chapter 97 verse 2. Clouds and darkness are round about him. Righteousness and judgment are the habitation of his throne. A fire goeth out before him and burneth of his enemies round about. You see that? See that? The brother's like, a fire. See that? Goeth before him. Hey, what's that fire, man? And that fire is coming from Yahweh Shah when he comes back. And even this psalmist, this person that wrote this psalm, whoever it may be, he was in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? He was prophesying about the day of the Lord's second coming, right? But kind of God it came.
The second chapter, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens, which are these kingdoms on the earth right now, shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth, all the works that are therein, shall be burnt up. So when the Lord comes back, he's not coming with blood no more. That's back.
That's right.
He's coming with fire, man. That's right. Brother, that's what I always say. That's fire. Up. Because everything for nothing, man. Right? When you really think about it, water and fire are two top cleaning agents to get rid of things, off the just clean things. We got one more precept. It's Revelation chapter 20 and verse 14, and it reads, "And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. The lake of fire is not underground hell. You have a red man with a pitchfork. He poking you. You trying to climb out the lake of fire. He pushes you back in. You grab him. He falls in there with you. That's not the lake of fire. The lake, because you gotta understand, John had a bird eye view of the destruction. So there was so much fire on the earth. It looks like a whole lake, man. And the lake is big, man. It's not a pond. It's not a pond when you go to the park. You have a pond. You might have a swan just doing this thing in a pond. No, it's not like that. It's a lake. So this big behind lake, hey, it's gonna be all of fire. That's how he's coming, man. He's not coming to be a nice guy. He already came in a
Right.
nice when he walked the first when he come on his first coming when he walked the earth. Because even John and James, they said, "Let's call fire down from heaven." No, I'm not do that yet. I'm not here to do that. No, you don't know what manner of spirit I'm moving in. But guess what? He's gonna come back on the second coming. He's coming on that same type of time to call fire down from heaven, man. But come.
Mm. Khan, that's right. That's right. Khan. And I'm even led to believe that John, he was using euphemism. And euphemism is a form of, let me just show the screen. It's a teaching point. See that? It's a teaching point. Right. Right. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, so euphemism is a mild or indirect word or expression substituted for one considered to be too harsh or blunt when referring to something unpleasant or embarrassing. Now, there's no precept, that says John was using euphemism, but when he was describing the lake of fire, we know that a lake, because people might scoff and be like, "Well, a lake's not that big," you know. But I mean, you do have, like how the brother said, lakes that's just hella big, right? But then, there is a cutting point to it. Now, I'm led to believe that he saw a damn ocean for real, But of course, if we want to get down to John's level, I mean, how many times has John seen Atlantic Ocean or actually know how big it is? Because they didn't have a map, you know, of the whole world back then. They didn't have a map of, what I'm saying? They didn't have a globe back then. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't go on Google Maps and be like, oh shoot, you know, I didn't know the ocean's that big. Couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have Wi-Fi, didn't have internet, right? He didn't have to pull out his iPhone 12 and be like, how hey Siri, how big is the ocean? You know what I'm saying? No. He can only describe it to what he knows. Lakes. You know, he knew about the lakes, he knew about maybe the Mediterranean Sea. Oh yeah, he did know about it, right? The Mediterranean Sea. But at the same time, I'm led to believe he saw ocean, but he might have used euphemism, right? As a way as to kind of kind of describe something in a way to just make to not be too harsh or blunt. So like if you like an example of euphemism is like instead of saying, "Oh, did your mom die?" You'll ask somebody, "Oh, did your mom pass away?" You see that, to not be too directly, to be too not too direct. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, but there's no preset. It's just something that I just kind of perceive because really he could have saw a damn ocean for real of just fire, man. Right? If the Lord's coming with fire, you know, and burning up all his adversaries, we know the Lord has a lot of enemies. So, con. But yeah, con. Yeah, we can go back to that if yeah.
Address 13 and verse 5. Verse 5. A great point, by the way. Second Address 13, verse 5. And this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea.
You see that? So it says, and lo, there was a gathered together a multitude of men out of number, right? From the four winds of heaven to subdue that man that came out of the sea. Now, who is that talking about? That's talking about those that's going to come and literally try to take Yahweh down. But they're not going to be able to, right? Now let's go jump down. Actually, let's jump down in the same chapter and let's go to verse, all right, 40, right? Or so like not 40, but See, verse number 29. Right. Let's go to verse number 29.
Verse 9, 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 29. Be
Mm-hmm.
the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth,
Mm.
and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another.
Yeah, gone. So you want to have all hell breaking loose. See that? That's that confusion. People just taking sides. You can go into that in Isaiah 13. You can go into that in Isaiah 9 and verse 17 on down. Right? You can go into that in Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse Salakia 38 and verse 21 on down. Right? There's so many precepts, right, about how every man's sword is going to be against his brother in that day. Jeremiah chapter 9 and verses 2 on down. It's a lot of precepts. A lot of people going to fight one against another, right? All hell breaking loose, right? That's even Matthew 24. You know how the Lord says, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But keep going.
Verse 32. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I shewed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
Mm. So his son, you see that? That's talking about Yahushua. But if you just read this, imagine somebody just reading this chapter, not knowing at all what what I'm saying, not knowing any other precept, but they're just reading this 2nd Ezra 13, they wouldn't have understanding. It would be like the son, but it says that the Most High is going to deliver his people. So which one is it? Is it his son or is it the Most High? So that's why you got to go precept upon precept. That's why these Christians, they'll be like, the Most High is the son. Aha, we have figured the Bible out. That's off, man. That's off. Thinking that they have the knowledge and the understanding. You see that? With no precepts. All right, but let's go back. Let's keep reading.
Keep reading in verse 33.
Yeah,
Verse 33. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land, shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another,
Mm.
and the innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
That's plain, man. Is you're gonna have a lot of people, right? And they're fighting literally. You can go to Joel, the 3rd chapter. The Lord's gonna call them over to the Valley Armageddon or the Valley Megiddo. And they're gonna be fighting there, all nations. And when they're fighting there, when they see Yahweh Shah coming with the thousands of heaven, they're going to stop their fighting that they have once against another. Hey, even that president Ronald Reagan, was it? Yeah, Ronald Reagan. He said this. Actually, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. You got it in the meantime, but let me pull this up real quick.
Like the brother said, that's really going to Armageddon, man. When the Lord comes back, World War III be at its peak. So you have many battlefronts in the war. You might have battles over here, battles over there. But when it's at its peak, man, everyone going to be at the battle of Armageddon. Armageddon. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse 10. And it reads, beat your plows. I'm going to start at verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. That's why there's a spirit of war on the earth right now, because slowly but surely, everyone's spirit is getting stirred up for war. I'm going to keep going. Jump down to verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is like right outside of Israel. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fast overflow, for their wickedness is great. But that's the point. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. What's that valley of decision? Where all these nations will come and gather to fight against the Lord, man. That's where it's going to take place, somewhere in the Middle East. So that's biblical. And what the brother was saying, you can't just read one book and think you can get all the understanding. You see how Joel links up with 2nd Ezra 13, Isaiah 66 link up with Revelation 19, and really chapter 20 as well. these different books link up together, man. But I get another one if you need me. If you need to.
Yeah, yeah, I'm still trying to find this video. I think I got it though, but I just gotta type it in.
Con.
Yeah, Khan.
We get another one, man. Even John, he saw this as well. You know, these prophets again be seeing the same vision and the same prophecies, man. Because prophecies don't lie. And that's the Lord keeping the law by having 2 or 3 witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 19. And I'm gonna start at verse Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11. And it reads, and I saw heaven opened, and behold, a white horse. Again, white horse is not an actual white horse, but it's a character. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, Yahushua. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Because when he comes back, he's a man of war. That's Exodus 15, verse 3. When he comes back, he's not giving out lilies. He's not giving out wristbands, right? He's not giving out free tickets to a concert. He's coming back to give out destruction. He gonna have a lot of bodies, man, to the point all that blood gonna be on his garment, right?
Khan.
Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Why do he have many crowns? Because he's going forth to conquer, conquering and to conquer, like it says in Revelation chapter 6 and verse 2. So he's going to be taking down these different kingdoms. You can say goodbye to Egypt. You can say goodbye to America. You can go ahead and say goodbye to Germany. Say goodbye to these different kingdoms because they're going down. China, finito. That's over with, right? Australia, you will never see it again, right?
Khan.
It's his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. So when he gets done destroying these people, his clothing, his raiment going to be dipped in blood because all the killing he's doing. But that's not the point. I want to jump down to verse 19. And it reads, and I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on a horse and against his army. You see how John seen the same thing that Joel saw? How all these multitudes and multitudes of people fighting against the Lord? He saw the same thing that Ezra saw, where these people are going to fight against the Lord. That's 2 or 3 witnesses, right? That's 3 witnesses right there. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yep.
Oh, you got it.
Khan, that's right. That's right, man. The brother's just going through the spirit, man. He's just shaking the hand, you know. So Khan, all praise, all praise. That's right. That's right. You know, all these prophets they're linking up with each other. That's how the Lord had it set it up. You know, one prophet will say, "We'll see this part of the vision," then the other prophet will see the breakdown of that vision, as we see with Ezra and Daniel, right? So things like that, man. You know, certain things may not be revealed to me, but they might be revealed to another brother. And can I, am I supposed to get mad? Why did the Lord reveal that to me? You know, why couldn't I have that breakdown? Hey, it's how the Lord works. You know, it's how the Lord works. Because if the Lord gave all the breakdowns to just one man, you know how proud he would be. You know, all the breakdowns. Talking about all the breakdowns, just to one man, he would be really proud. You know, walking around like this, and only certain men can actually take that. You know, that responsibility or that great amount of knowledge, like Ezra's, or Moses, or of course Yahushua, etc., etc. But the average man, even Daniel wasn't told every prophecy. It wasn't even he was told prophecies that he didn't even understand. You know, so Khan, all praises. But yeah, Khan, I want to pull this up. I couldn't even pull up the video, so but Khan, basically, you can look it up on your own. But he really said this, right? He really said this. So it says on September 21st, 1987, the U.S. President Ronald Reagan gave an address to the United Nations General Assembly. So this is in front of the whole world down there, right? Not saying that the whole world is part of the UN, but a lot of nations are within that, all right? And it was live on television. All right. In an often quoted section of his speech, Reagan asked rhetorical questions and commented about the nations and cultures of the world uniting in common efforts to live in peace and avoid wars and bloodshed, which is never going to happen with Esau. I mean, whenever there's Edomites upon the earth, there's always going to be war. There's always going to be turmoil. There's always going to be affliction, all right, and hell, because that's Revelation 6, right? The Lord said that hell followed with him. You know, that's, that's Esau. But it says, cannot swords be turned into plowshares? See that? He said, cannot swords be turned into plowshares? Hey, read this real quick in Joel 3 and 10. Is that what the Lord said? Right. You kind of twisting the words of the Lord.
This book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 10.
Right.
Beat your plowshares into.
Now beat your swords.
Beat your plowshares into swords.
It's literally the exact opposite. Go on, keep going.
And your pruning hooks into spears.
Mm-hmm.
Let the weak say, I am strong.
See that? So that's what the Lord said, man. But this man talking about, cannot swords be turned into plowshares? It's the literal opposite. It's the literal opposite. That's why we don't listen to Esau, right? That's crazy. See that? But it says, can we and all nations not live in peace? Nah, right? The Lord said, real quick, I want to get this precept in Jeremiah, all right, chapter 12 and verse 12, right? Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 12. The spoilers are come up upon all high places through the wilderness, for the sword of the Lord shall devour from the one end of the land even to the other end of the land. No flesh shall have peace. You see that? The Lord said, no flesh shall have peace. So what you talking about, man? Right? As long as a sword is upon the land, no flesh is going to have peace. Right? But yeah, just getting to the point here, basically he was saying, I think it's right here. It says, I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. Yahushua is outside this world. Let's prove that. Right? A brother knows the precept, right? Trying to get that Baba Gesha. John 8 and 23. I'll pull it up on the screen.
This book of John, chapter 8, and verse 23. Mm-hmm. And it reads, and he said to them, ye are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world.
Now Yahushua is of this world.
I am not of this world.
That's plain, man. Yahushua is not of this world. So when he says an alien threat from outside this world, Yahushua is not part of this world. He said, I am not of this world. You see that? I'm from above, you're from beneath. That's what the Lord said, right? And an alien, remember that word alien, and just let me know if you got a point of precept about. But that word alien, just see that. They're talking about this man, People think that he was talking about this man or this creature, Martian, a skeleton, like they think that the average person is thinking about when they think about alien, they think about this man, this creature right here, or this creature. Where is this in the Bible? Like, what proof do you have that aliens actually look like this? So when we actually go into that word for alien in the etymology, it means strange, foreign. Strange, foreign. You have the word alien in the Bible, and this means stranger, right? A belonging to another, not one's own, foreign, strange, a stranger. So yes, Yahushua, he's strange to this world because he's not of this world. So of course he's going to be strange to this world, right? It says meaning not of this earth, first recorded in 1920. Yeah, so Yahushua, he's not of this earth because this world is wicked. And if we say that Yahushua is wicked, you got a problem on your hands because obviously the Lord's not off or wicked, right? But it says an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war? So basically, what he was trying to say is that an alien invasion will kind of unite the human race, right? Quote unquote, the human race. So basically, what he's saying is, a he may or may not have read that in Second Esdras. You know, he may or may not have read that in Second Esdras, but we know that in the precepts, that's what it does say. When Yahushua comes back, people are going to unite and fight against the Lord. You're going to have Russians aside along with the Moabites, they're fighting together, to take down Yahushua, take down the enemy. That's what happened. They show you that in Independence Day, that movie, that literally all nations came together to fight against Yahushua, one accord. But that's what we're reading in the Bible. People saying the Bible's not real, this and the third. We're literally reading this in the Bible, man. But So that's that innumerable multitude being gathered together to fight against Yahushua. All right. They're gonna shoot against them. I mean, still like real quick in the day, in that movie, Day of Independence, they show you in that movie that when Yahushua comes back, basically it's like they're taking down the enemy, taking down the aliens. Yeah, right. They all like pump their fists. Let's take these suckers down, right? Then you got the hero. He's shooting against the chariots, breaking down certain chariots. You think bullets is going to take down the chariots of the Most High? That's off, man. That's off. These chariots are not even made of substances that are of this world. Just made out of energy, spirit. A certain elements that man doesn't even know. You think you have the table of elements? That's all the elements that there is, right? We figured it all out. You have helium. You have, brothers remember that from high school chemistry. So you got helium. You have air. You have H2O. You have, carbon. Those are not the only elements. Guess what? Yahushua, he has or the elements that are not of this world. But but yeah, we can go back to that. It's Second Esdras 13 and verse. Let's just start at verse 5, and then we can just keep reading down. And we're getting to the point.
You said what verse again, King?
Verse 5, and then we keep reading on that.
Second Esdras chapter 13 and verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it.
That's right. So he flew up upon this great mountain. Like we were saying this whole time, the Lord speaks in parables or metaphors and deep dark sayings. So this mountain is not an actual mountain, right? Let's keep reading on that.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight.
You see that? Because when they see that big old father shit come out of the sky, right, out of the heavens, everybody's gonna be afraid, but they're still gonna fight. They're still gonna follow the orders that they have been given as soldiers. But nevertheless, we want to touch on that point when it says a great mountain. And Ezra was like, "Damn, where's that mountain at?" Trying to see if it was Mount Everest, Mount Seir. What mountain is it? It's not an actual mountain, right? Now, you had a precept back, or I'm okay, Khan. Let me. Khan. Yeah, you got it first. Yeah, you got it.
Oh, Mama, you got it. Go ahead, King. You got it. Go ahead.
Oh, Khan. Yeah, I was just going to pull up this video real quick, and then to show you kind of like a visual representation, right?
There was a threat to this world from another planet outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have.
And what you're hearing right now is actually Ronald Reagan, his speech in 1987. You can hear it.
Come.
All right, come on.
Between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us, we can bring about that realization.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 3.
And then brother, reads that precept. So, but basically, this is from the Independence Day, and as you can see, there's probably a better clip, but I can't find it right now. But I mean, as you can see right here, literally, you have a big old chariot or spaceship coming out of the sky, right? And that chariot is this what we're reading right now, that great mountain. Because remember, I mean, is Ezra going to say it was a great, big spaceship? That word didn't even exist back then, man. So what is he going to say, right? If he says a chariot of the Most High, right? Hey, he's not wrong. At the same time, he's not wrong by saying a mountain either, because he's trying to describe it the way that he can, right? Just like how John was trying to describe ICBM missile the way he can. He said it was like a torch, it was like a light, and it flew down, and his name was Wormwood because it made everything like wormwood, very bitter. So he's just trying to describe it the best way he can. So Khan, yeah, precept king.
Come. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 18. I'm gonna start at verse 6. I'll start to read. Called upon the Lord and cried, my God, heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. So David is describing himself in Jacob's trouble, because David's going to be back on the earth in these last days. You have a lot of men that's back on the earth right now. You might have Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezra. You never know who you are back on the earth. Yasharala could be somebody back on the earth on the right-hand side, man. All right? Verse 7. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because he was wroth, the Lord making his second coming. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured, and coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And me and the brother was freaking bread about this. He made a good point. The chariot gonna be so big, it's gonna be blocking the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So how you gonna have darkness under? It says and darkness was under his feet, meaning under the chariot. So that chariot has to be so big if it's casting a shadow right under it, man. A bird passed by, you can't really see a bird's shadow like that, man. Even a plane passed by, I don't really see a plane shadow like that, right? Unless it's like real low. But when the chariot, that big behind chariot passed by, it's gonna be a big shadow. It's a big chariot. That's what David described it. It reads, verse 10, and he rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yeah, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. Now, is this he has wings, he's flapping in the air? No. He said he rode upon a cherub. What's the cherub? Again, a chariot, a so-called UFO, the spaceship that brother just showed you. Because spaceships are Bible. They seem like, like the brother was putting out too, that is aliens, green creatures that's from another world, Martians. No, man. They like to make it seem like it's far-fetched. But these are spiritual things from the spiritual world that we have no idea about, man. All right, because
Yeah, Con. That's right. Yep. And this is the scene right here, like how the brothers, beautifully going. Right. It's literally every eye shall see. They literally play these things out. They know it's in the Bible. That's why they playing it out, man. And that's why they trying to make money off the scriptures. For real. They're making money off the scriptures. Getting these famous actors, I believe Will Smith was in the second one, right? If I'm not mistaken. Right. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know movies that well for real. If you ask me about a movie, like I don't know these actors' names. I'm kind of ignorant in that matter. But I what I know I'll say, right. But, right. So you had the rich, because they showed the president in this movie. So you had the rich, and you also had the poor. Every eye is going to see him, right? Because what does this look like, King? Like this right here.
Clouds, a mountain.
Kind of looks like clouds, look like a mountain, and you see this kind of thundering kind of fire with it too. You see that? This like orangish reddish color. You see that? They literally showing the scriptures, man. They literally trying to get a visual representation of it. But yeah, that's crazy, bro. And this is New York City. You know how big New York City is, right? So if this is how the Lord's going to come for real, you know, it's probably going to be more beautiful, more majestic, more, powerful than this. But nevertheless, that's how the Lord's coming. Hey, I get Isaiah 19:1, Bible for sure. Right? There's a precept on that, man. All right, spaceships are in the Bible, which are called chariots and clouds. In mountains.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud,
Right.
and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
That's right. And that's what we're reading right now. The Lord shall come into Egypt, right? The Lord shall, it's like it says, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. You see that? And this swift cloud is talking about a chariot. It's not talking about ancient Egypt, bro. Stop thinking that it's talking about ancient Egypt. You keep reading these places in the Bible. You keep thinking that it's always that literal geographical place. Egypt is in the Middle East. Certain people say that Egypt is in the Middle East for real. But when Egypt is in, Africa, when is the Lord going to come into Africa and come into Egypt? Because in the ancient times, the Lord never did. It's not talking about actual Egypt, bro. When you read this account, in the spirit, it's talking about America, Babylon the Great. But you have to read it in the spirit and link it up with precept upon precept. But going through Isaiah 19, the whole chapter, we're not going to do that right now because it's not expedient, right? But we could do that breakdown another day. It's not like we can't. But that, just for the sake of time, Egypt in this proper context, or it's like in this context, it's talking about Babylon the Great for real. It's talking about America. But as we see right here, Esau even knows that Yahushua is literally going to ride into Egypt and pull up. He's going to pull up, literally. He's going to pull up, right? Hey, the Lord doesn't have all these prophecies about pulling up, and he's not going to do it. God is not a man that he should lie. Neither is he the son of man that he should repent. All these prophecies that he's talking about, he shall come into Egypt. He shall, every eye shall see him, right? The Lord talking about pulling up onto these nations. He's going to do it. He's going to perform the word which he has said, right? So, God, and this is a beautiful representation of it. I might want to play this one too, right? right? Let's see if I want to. You had a point of precept on?
I can get one.
Okay, come on.
There's a book of Habakkuk, chapter 2. It's like in Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 4. And it reads, "And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power." And when you go to into the blue letter, that word horn in this context,
Yeah.
that's an horn, but that goes to rays, beams of light. The same way how you have on Star Wars those laser beams they shoot at you and stuff like that. The Lord has those things. Why do you think it's not coincidence that Star Wars are shooting rays of light or what's called beams and stuff like that? Because they get it from the scripture. They know when the Lord comes back, He's gonna have these high techs. You see that? It says rays of light. You see that? So that's what the Lord's coming back. He has weapons and armory that you don't even know about, man. These chariots are on a whole nother level. It's not like your helicopters. It might run out of bullets, so you can't really fight the war no more. You gotta go back to where you came from. It's not like these jets that run out of fuel and you gotta go dock back on the ship. These chariots are on a whole nother level. So when the Lord comes back, He's coming back with laser beams, with fire, with things you never even seen, lightning, man, right? To burn up this place, right? And I'm gonna keep going.
Right.
Verse 5. Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet. Meaning under him is gonna be burning coals, meaning fire, man. That mouth at the bottom of the chair where it opens up, gonna be shooting for a bait behind laser balls. I'm gonna destroy. I'm gonna jump down to verse 12. I'll start at verse 11, and it reads, "The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of that glittering spear." That glittering spear again goes into those laser beams, those bright arrows, those rays of light. You know, he's not gonna come back with what's it called, a 50 cal, man. He's not gonna with these bullets that Esau has now. No, he's gonna come back with things you've never seen. Right, verse 12. Thou didst march through the land and the nation. Thou didst thresh the heathen and angry. What does it mean that he marched? I mean, guess what? When he's coming with power and might with with the angels. He's gonna be in Babylon, then he's gonna be over there, then he's gonna be over there, and then guess what? He's gonna pull up to the battle of Armageddon, man. Because the Lord's not afraid of nobody. The Lord's not like Jake nowadays, who's beefing over Twitter, but when they see each other, it's all cool. It's all hugs and kisses. It was crap about each other's baby mamas, but now it's all cool and kisses, no hugs and kisses. No, the Lord, if you say something, guess what? He gonna pull up on you and let it be known. The Lord's back down from a fight.
That's right. That's right, King. And even in verse 6 in Habakkuk 3, the Lord said, or Habakkuk rather the Spirit of the Lord, He said, what God is lucky. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When He cometh up unto the people, He will invade them with His troops. You see that? So He said that Yahweh Shah is going to invade the people with His troops. So Yahweh Shah is coming with His troops. He's coming with the thousands of heaven. We already went through that, but that's just another precept to validate that. But what basically AHBAYAH is coming with, or Slaki, as he brought out, through the precepts, Yahweh Shah is coming with things that we don't even know about, with devices and weapons that we haven't even seen or perceived before, And here's an example of that. Right, I'm about to play right now. So there. I mean, I'm pretty sure people would do that for real. It's not far-fetched. Even though the Lord says that in that day, everybody's going to be afraid. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be certain people before the destruction happens, like when they see Yahweh Shah come with 1,000 in heaven, they're probably going to be like, hey, peace, this, that, and the third. That's First Peter. It's like that's First Thessalonians 5:1 on down. When they shall say peace, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So that's written as well. Esau's trying to warn them, hey, this is Yahweh Shah. Hey, they didn't say that, but this Yahweh Shah got to get out of here. And this is LA.
Blocky.
Come on, you got it.
See right there, that's that when it says that fire came out of his mouth, that's the mouth right there. That is turned to pride. When he opens up that latch at the bottom of the chariot, what's going to go from right there? Fire.
Right.
Huh? He might get beamed up in that thing, or he might get destroyed from that thing. But
that's spiritual. That's right. See that? See that the precepts kind of link up. That's why. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's that. That's why the Lord said, hey, let me get this precept real quick. Habakkuk 3:2. Oh Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. Oh Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known, and wrath, remember mercy. Hey, so Habakkuk was like, Lord, remember mercy in the day of your wrath, man. So that's how much killing and murder, and not murder, but righteous killing, and death and bloodshed and zapping people, as you brought out, the lasers, right? The lasers, the fire going out from before him, all that stuff is going to be happening. That's why Habakkuk is like, in a day of wrath, Baba Gashah, remember mercy, but gone. So it's in the Bible. We're reading it, man. It's in the Bible. I mean, but like what other book is going to prophesy about this? Let's be for real. What other book has prophecy about the Yahweh Shah coming with various prophets who didn't even live during the same time, but they talking about the same thing, right? Who we can break down through the precepts. You don't have to go outside of the Bible. You don't really have to go outside of the Bible to break it down for real. You can stay within it, but we're just giving that visual representation, right, of it. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. That shows you that the Bible is real, So that fire came out from before, man, burned off his adversaries. These scriptures are literally saying that, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's what's gonna happen, man. But it's crazy. So yeah, these spaceships, man, the Lord's second coming, all this other stuff is in the Bible. Real quick, I want to go to the book of just quick precepts bringing out UFOs, and we can kind of just close it out from there if you had any.
Book of Raya, chapter 5 and verse 1. And it reads, Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. Now, dinner roll, you usually get in that Hawaiian roll that, no, that's not an actual roll. This roll, again, is another term for chariot, man. So Zechariah, who lifted up his eyes, he saw a roll, he saw a chariot. There's some times that brothers, they seen chariots in the skies, man. It might just be hovering right there, right there, right in front of them. It might just be zooming right past. You probably saw a chariot. You probably saw a star, but it's really a chariot, man. Right? These chariots, it's always there. You may have seen it, but you never really realized what you just seen. All right. Verse 2. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. So come on. I'm gonna keep going actually. Verse 3. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, for everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on the side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. So that roll, that chariot, like a flying disc, a flying saucer, they say. Like that. That's what Zechariah saw right there. Right? It could be seen like a big one, it could be seen a small one, so-called, but you probably seen it. But those were made to destroy and to save. But come on.
Just like how the brother brought out plainly, man. And it's crazy because you have a lot of sightings of UFOs, even confirmed about by the Babylonian government. So people's like, are UFOs real, or are they fake, or that's fake? You can't say it's fake no more. If you say it's fake, then basically you saying that, that they're just lying. Now, of course, Esau is not the most credible person in the damn world, but what we're just trying to bring out is that these things is real, and like real sightings of them have been in people's lives, and they testify of it, right? Brothers have been seeing chariots. I've never seen one. The only time I've seen chariots is in my dream, or in my dreams, but I never seen it in real life. You see that? Which is crazy because you usually dream about the stuff that you see, right? And I've never seen it. Only, pictures, or, it's just picture though. It's just a video. I never seen it with my own two eyes. Brothers have seen it with their own two eyes, maybe from afar, right? I never seen it from afar, not that I can know of. Only seen it in my dreams, destroying, delivering, that's it. But basically, these scriptures is real. Talking about when you go to Ezekiel chapter 1, it talks about a roll within a roll, or it's like a wheel within a wheel. And this if you take a wheel and you take another wheel, that's what it looks like, a wheel within a wheel, right? A wheel within another wheel. What is he describing for real? And it said it had eyes all around it. That's literally. Hold on, we just gotta pull it up, right, real quick. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel. All right, Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 15. All right, you trying to read that, Bible, Shah?
Come on, King. This is Ezekiel chapter 1 and verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his four faces.
Mm-hmm.
The appearance of the wheel and their work was like unto the color of a beryl. And they four had one likeness. And their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel.
It's playing a wheel in the middle of a wheel. That's a so-called UFO, which we know is a chariot, proper term, right? Because you remember, UFO means unidentified flying object. It is identified to us. We know what it is. It's the chariots and the Most High. All right. So but of course, Esau tries to conceal that. But Khan, it says a wheel within a wheel. Also, I kind of want to touch on a point real quick. Touch on a point with the spaceship. right? I should have brought this out before, but it only occurred to me right now. When you go into that word for spaceship, it's comprised of two words, right? Space and ship. Now we know that the space, according to the scriptures, is the heavens, right? The second heaven, that space right there. Now, when Yahweh Shah, and we know what a ship is, right? So when Yahweh Shah, damn, it's spiritual because it's really deep. Because let's get the precept, right? Let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1, right? Um, I can read it out, right? It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. You see that? So the face of the waters, because you have waters outside of the waters, right? I believe that's also another precept as well. But you have waters outside of the waters. So in the second heaven, that's what will be considered space, those waters, right? Because you have the first heaven, which is the firmament, then you have the second heaven, which is called that space, those waters right there. It's known as waters. So what do you do with a ship? You sail upon the waters. So with a spaceship, it's just basically saying you moving on the waters, right? In space or in that second heaven. So I mean it's a little deep, but that's what the Lord said, right? That's what the Lord said. So that's how that word spaceship can even be applied to the chariots of the Most High, because that's what these chariots are doing. They're moving upon the waters, right? So in so-called space, right? Pecan.
Another thing these chariots do, that's a great point right there. You know, they beam you up. You know, our righteous forefathers, they got beamed up, huh? Like, a few precepts on that real quick. Like this is the book of Sirach, 44, like in verse 16. Enoch pleased the Lord and was translated, being example of repentance to all generations. What does it mean that he was translated? What does that mean? Taken up into a chariot. He was beamed up. He was translated from a physical realm to the spiritual realm. You know, that happened to Elijah. That even happened to Christ. I'm gonna get that in Acts chapter 1 and verse 9 real quick, huh? It's not far fetched, especially back then, because we knew who we were, we knew our heritage, we knew about the chariots, man. It wasn't far fetched about us getting beamed up. But now everybody thinks it's a phenomenon. It's unordinary. This book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 9. So Acts chapter 1 and verse 9, and it reads, and when he had spoken these things, talking about Yahushua, while they beheld, he was taken up in a cloud. Remember, that cloud is not an actual cloud, but it's a chariot, a so-called UFO. Received them out of their sight. You see that? But watch this though, verse 10. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven, as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? So what does it mean it was gazing up? I mean, when he was slowly being translated up into the chariot, they were slowly just looking up like this, just looking up of him getting beamed up, huh? That's in the scriptures. You might see on a cartoon, an animated TV show, someone get beamed up out of nowhere. They get these from the scriptures, man. You gotta understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get one more, or unless you had a precept.
Oh, la.
Let me get one more real quick. That because Enoch got translated, Yahushua got translated or beamed up.
Right.
Even Elijah, man. Let me get that account real quick in 2 Kings. Elijah got beamed up in this thing. This is because 2 Kings chapter 2. And verse 9. And it reads, and it came to pass when they were going over that Elijah said to Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing, nevertheless, if thou see me not from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven, because he got beamed up into heaven, man. So those things are in the Bible, right? Come on, you got it.
Yeah, Khan, that's right. That's right. So all these things we're showing you right now through the Spirit. All these things are mentioned in the Bible. Spaceships, the concept of being delivered up. You know, with UFOs is also a common thing when you think about UFOs in the world. About a UFO coming and delivering up a cow for some damn reason, right? You seen that? You know,
Uh,
just comes and then delivers up a cow. Now the cow is missing, and the farmer comes out the day after, and he's like, "Huh, I had 30 cows last night. Counted 30 cows, and now I only had 29." Now he's confounded, right? Because he's missing the cow. And his chariot, and guess what? We are those spiritual cows, man, on a spiritual level. Lord will be part of that number. But the elect, they're going to be delivered from the four corners of the earth via the chariots. Because pursuant to so many precepts, Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5 on down, the Lord said that when he comes, Israel shall dwell safely, and Judah shall be saved, right? Now, how is that possible? How's the Lord going to gather his elect from the four corners of the earth? In Matthew chapter 24, he prophesies about that. How's that possible? How's the Lord going to say, or let's just get one precept on that, then we can get I want to get this precept in Genesis again. But let's get one precept on that though. Right? How's the Lord going to do that? Via his chariots, right? These spaceships, these so-called UFOs, right? Let's go to Revelation 11 to verse 11.
This book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 11. It reads, "And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Mm.
And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them."
You see that? Those are the chariots delivering up the children of Israel, saying, "Come up hither." You might hear "come up hither" in the Paleo Hebrew, but you understand it. That's what's going to be crazy. You might understand it, but nobody else understands it. They just hear it as, but you understand it as "come up hither," right? Hey, we don't know. We don't know. The enemy's like, what the hell is going on, right? Trying to grab you up. They're trying to go with you. They might actually take hold of somebody's of an elect member's shoe, right? Let's say he has some no folly, right? But he grabs hold on his shoe and he's trying to be delivered up, and he's think he's going to go with them, and then the Lord has him to let go, and then he falls to his death. Certain things like that. And confusion is going to be in many places, but the elect, that's how they're going to be delivered up. It's in the Bible. Come up hither, right? Now that cloud, like how we've been going through this whole video, is not a literal cloud. Stop thinking it's a literal cloud, man. Right? You just have a cloud there, and then you just get delivered up. Nah, it's talking about the chariot, these UFOs, which makes sense when you relate it to modern day world, right? But the only reason it's called a cloud is because that's how the Lord wanted it to be set up, so that people will be like, you Bible literalists will read the Bible literally. Bible's fake. You kind of just, if you're reading this thing literally, as soon as you get to certain precepts, you're gonna be like, nah, I just can't. But when you read it in the precepts, like in the precepts and in the spiritual level or in the spiritual lenses, then you'd be like, all praises. That's beautiful. So gone. But yeah, gone. So yeah, all praises to the Most High. And there's a lot of precepts on the UFOs. We're not going to go through every single precept tonight, though, right? But just to show Israel and to show our people that, guess what, these things are actually in the Bible, and we can see them play on TV, social media. We can see them play on YouTube. We can see them being talked about everywhere, right, in all places. You know, people have a little knowledge about spaceships. The average man, you know, he has a little knowledge about spaceships. Right? He has a little knowledge about UFOs. He's heard of it. Everybody's heard of it, but nobody knows it's actually in the Bible. You know, so that's the purpose of this video. But I just want to get this precept real quick. Genesis 1:6, because I was talking about the waters between the waters. It says, and God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So the firmament is talking about the sky, and it's dividing these waters from the other waters. So you have waters above the firmament. That's why it's called a spaceship, right? Because a ship is used for the sea. All right. So just put that out there. Right. That's how the Lord is coming in a spaceship. So you have literal spaceships in the Bible. All right. So all praises. But yeah, with that, we can bring out our closing precepts now. Yeah, one thing.
Look at Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 5. I'm gonna start at verse 1. It reads, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labor. Who's the righteous man? We're the righteous man, the Israelite men and women, right? Who made no accounts of our labor? Esau and these other nations, having us in slavery, servitude, hard bondage. Verse 2, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. See what? See us get beamed up into those chariots. See the Lord coming back to save us. It reads, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for, man. What's the strangeness of his salvation? The so-called UFOs, the chariots, man. Angels, spiritual bodies, being righteous. Hey, that's a strange salvation, right? It's so far beyond what they look for. You got Esau thinking that he has the best technology. You got Esau thinking that he has the best places he can visit. Panama City, that's nothing, man. Right? Bora Bora, Jamaica, that's nothing. Right?
Right.
In the Lord's kingdom, it's gonna be way better than that, man. All right.
Mm.
Like Esau, he capped out. He capped out, and it's nothing, man. Right? Verse 3. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision, in a proverb of reproach. Yeah, man, these people, co-workers at your jobs, the elites, these other nations, they go by this dude, he's getting saved. This nigga right here getting saved, man. They used to kill people. They used to be wicked. They used to do this, that, and the third. Look at him. He's a fool. He's sagging. All right, verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
We fools accounted his life madness and his end to be without honor. And that's what they think about you. You have no honor. You're just a nigga and a nigga woman that's yelling right in front of the alcohol store. Verse 5. How is he numbered among the children of God, and God is among the saints? For he erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. You see that? And that's what they're going. This is what the heathen will be saying amongst themselves when you're getting beamed up into that glorious chariot, man. If you don't believe that chariot, the so-called UFOs are real, how else would you get delivered out of captivity, out of America? You think we're going to part the Atlantic Ocean? No, that's not going to happen, man. You get beamed up in the so-called UFO, which is called a chariot of Israel. But come on.
God, that's right. That's right. And the Lord, you always has to show off with that, man. Just like how you showed off with it's a reoccurring thing, man. It's a reoccurring thing. Moses it's like Yahushua is a new Moses, right? It's just a reoccurring thing, man. The Israelites getting delivered out of Egypt again. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. It's a reoccurring thing. Got people mocking in the wilderness. The Lord got to cut them off. Ezekiel chapter 20. It's just a reoccurring thing. So the Lord always has to show off his works, right? So I got two precepts real quick. So I had the brothers going into, man. All right, let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 33, and verse number 9. The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is ashamed and hewn down. Sharon is like a wilderness, and Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits. Now will I arise, said the Lord, Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. So the Lord is all about the exalting the Most High God, man. Right? It's all about exalting the Most High, right? Because the Lord is going to bring his people out of this spiritual Egypt, Babylon the Great, America, and of course the four corners of the earth, right, with a speedy deliverance to magnify his name, man, to save his people. But guess what? His people is going to show forth his praise. That's what he said. This people have I formed for myself; they shall show forth my praise, man. Right. So he's going to deliver them, right, and it's all for the glory and honor of Yahweh Shah. Right. That's why the Lord said, "Now will I lift up myself. Now will I be exalted." You see that? So I'm gonna get this precept too. Right. Now will I be exalted. Right. It's all for exalting Yahweh Shah at the end of the day, because he's going to be known for that. That's pursuant to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 16 and verse 14 on down. He's not going to be known as the Lord that led his people out of Egypt, but out of the north country and of all places where the Lord has scattered his people, right? And guess what? When we get delivered up, we're not going to be saying all praises to myself because I made it. God forbid, man. Talking about yes, right? Not gonna be talking about that, man. We're gonna be like all praises to Yahweh, because the Lord said that when He stands before Him, we're gonna be as one that morning, as only for His only it's like for that one that morning for His only Son in Zechariah chapter 12, right? And they shall look upon Him whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for Him, right? So we're gonna become mourning unto Yahweh. Lord, when we make it, we're not gonna be boasting in that day, beating upon our chest, right? Talking about, I knew it because of my own righteousness. It's not because of our own righteousness, man. It's because literally the grace of the Most High. Because we go off every day, man. Literally, we go off every day. So it's not because of our righteousness. It's because of the Most High's grace, right? But I'm gonna read this. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 23. Thus will I magnify myself. So at the end of the day, the Lord is bringing his people out of Egypt, destroying the nations, right? This, that, and the third. Thus will I magnify myself. He's the only person that can say that, man. Yahweh Shem Yahweh. Thus will I magnify myself and sanctify myself, and I'll be known in the eyes of many nations. So he wants to do this also to get praise and fame in all the other nations as well, because the Lord has to show them his might, right? He has to show them that. He has to show Israel his might. He has to show all these other nations his might again, because they have forgotten the Lord. But it says, and I'll be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. That's a cold precept, man. So that all praises to Yahweh. Brothers, had anything else? Okay, come. All praises to Yahweh. Lord willing, this has been edifying through the Spirit, man. Brother Yasharala.
Brother AHBAYAH.
Come back, show yet another video through the Spirit by Yahweh. Yeah, so the water for tuning in. Shabbat Shalom. Kwame Yasharala.
Yasharala.